This is my DJI remote controller that I use for all my FPV flights, and over the last little bit, I've been upgrading basically everything that I possibly can on this remote controller. Now, there's not really a lot to upgrade, but there is some really interesting things that I've added on that honestly adds to the range of the controller as well as just like the aesthetics of it. I think personalizing your FPV gear is so cool. I've just been doing a bunch of it over the last little bit, so I wanted to share what exactly these upgrades were that I put on and where you can get them yourself. I'm gonna be honest, upgrading your controller is so extra because it doesn't add too much. I think upgrading your antennas on your goggles and your drone itself is like the top priority and like the thing that'll make the biggest difference. It never hurts to just throw in a couple upgrades on the controller. It is still what you use to fly, so I think it adds a little bit. First things first, I'm gonna start off with like the most basic of upgrades for the DJI controller and then kind of move it up to the one that actually makes a difference. The first thing, the lanyards. So this is super nifty. Custom pilots, they already have their lanyards that allow the controller to just hang from your neck. When you buy your DJI FPV setup, they don't actually give you a lanyard, which I find very interesting. Getting one is super good. You can customize these with colors, what brand you like flying with. I have one at home that is like a quick release detachment. So basically, let's say I crash and then you don't want to basically run with your goggles and your controller hanging from your neck all the way to go save your drone. I've done that too many times. Essentially, the quick release ones, you don't need to untoggle it, but you can essentially just clip it off and have your lanyard still hanging around your neck, but have the controller disconnected from it. And I think it just like adds that little like 1% amount of convenience. I got my lanyards for free and from using like other custom controllers and things. They really don't cost that much and you can literally customize it, get whatever style you want, which is super interesting. Honestly, if you don't have a lanyard for your DJI controller, get one. It's going to be super useful and you can just let your controller hang from your neck and it just makes it so much more comfortable to control. Second little upgrade that I put on my DJI controller was custom joysticks. So the ones that I put on have this like dyed chrome look. I love it. I love having things in this specific like color fade design. Throws me back to those like Counter-Strike days where you have like the knives that have like designs on it and stuff. So this is just kind of like that. My controller knobs, they're the exact same size as the original DJI ones that they give you. For me, it's purely for aesthetic reasons. There are other controller knob options that you can get, some that are much more lengthier, so it allows you to just grip the controller much better and have more range of motion with it. I just swallowed a mosquito, bloody heck. I personally have these different dyed colorful control knobs purely for aesthetic reasons, but you can get other ones that allow you to have bigger range of motion, just allow you to get better grip. Unfortunately, they won't fit inside of your controller, so you kind of need to store them separately. But for me, the actual controller grip wasn't an issue, so me just having like a customized dyed design was just kind of fun for me, so that's why I did it. Last but not least, my latest addition to my DJI controller. These are signal boosters on the top. Whoops. You basically slip them on and it allows the range to increase on your DJI controller. You might ask like, oh, the controls have enough range already, like why would I need to upgrade it? So with the original DJI antennas, the little stick ones, the range that you get on that compared with the stock DJI controller antennas is about the same. They try to make it as leveled as possible, so you're basically playing within a bubble when you're flying your drone. For example, if you switched your DJI antennas to patch antennas, so longer range for the video signal, all of a sudden, if you flew long distance with your drone, you could potentially lose RC signal on your drone, but with antenna boosters, it kind of does the same thing as upgrading your antennas, so it'll just boost that signal, so you'll 100% not lose your signal with your controller and the drone. Basically, the design of these is a little plastic mold with a bunch of copper wiring inside. And so because of that EMF radio signal, it basically uses this to boost out the signal even further. In total, all of these upgrades cost me less than 20 bucks, and they make a little bit of a difference, an aesthetic difference for the controller. These antennas on the controller I picked up for like 10 bucks, and I've been using it for the last little bit. Honestly, I haven't noticed much of a difference. I think as I'm upgrading my drones and I'm flying longer and longer distance and trying to build those long range setups and fly outdoors and indoors and through different like environments, I think it just helps to have that peace of mind and security. With these antennas, all you do is you slip them on and then you use your controller as you would, and the signal gets boosted when you turn on your controller and when you connect with your DJI drone. There's really not that much to upgrade on the DJI controller, but you can boost your signal. You can get better joysticks if the stock ones are uncomfortable for you. And honestly, a lanyard doesn't hurt. It just makes it so much more comfortable to hang on your neck or be able to quick release it to go and snatch your drone or whatever. So yeah, there are a little few upgrades that you can make on your DJI controller that make it just a little bit more convenient. Now, that being said, it's not necessary. I think this is like the most extra you can possibly be. And for me, I'm just currently testing out what are the things really worth upgrading on your DJI setup and what actually makes a difference. I know there's certain things like comfort, like especially when you're flying and you found the perfect setup for yourself, you want to kind of make it more comfortable, make it more efficient for yourself. So at the end of the day, everyone's different. For some people, the joysticks might be uncomfortable, but for some people like me, it's honestly the perfect length. I don't find any need for the joysticks to be longer. At the end of the day, you just gotta find what works for you. And like I said, controller is just super extra. I'm gonna link these DJI controller upgrades down in the description below so you can snag some yourself if you'd like to. But for now, let's launch up the drone. I'm actually just out in the middle of an alpine valley, out in the middle of the forest, just doing some solo FPV flying. And so right before sunsets, I thought, why not launch up the drone and play around with the controller a little bit? So let's do it.